Welcome to the Locals Guide. In today's Locals Guide episode, we're going to be doing Interstate 540 or the Raleigh Outer Loop. Currently, 59 out of the 70-mile loop is open, as the last 11 miles is currently being under constructed, and a majority of the open portion is actually a toll road and a very expensive and poorly signed one, as you only get the name of the expressway on overhead signs. But the free portion, Interstate 540, is actually really well signed by NCDOT. So grab your easy passes and let us get started with 540. But first, you're watching the TheDerpHog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button. And if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today, where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free extra request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for a intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. As you can see here, this is the map of Interstate 540/North Carolina 540, as it makes a 3/4 of a loop around the city of Raleigh, with most of it being in Wake County, with a couple of interchanges being in Johnston and Durham County respectively. And this colored portion is the part of the route that I've been on. So with that, I'm going clockwise around the city of Raleigh. So we actually begin here just about a half a mile south of the exit 1 for Interstate 40, where we get a sign telling us that we're going to be entering into Durham County for a little bit. And here's our first exit, exit 1 for Interstate 40, being signed for Raleigh and Durham respectively. And after that, we are entering back into Wake County with a welcome with a Wake County sign and a Interstate 540 reassurance shield too, so that is cool. And our first major exit is Aviation Parkway, which will take you over to the airport. We're also going to be meeting with Lumley Road here in a couple of miles. And let us see what we're signed for on the Aviation Parkway exit. It looks like we're going to sign for North Raleigh. I do not like that choice. North Raleigh is a big neighborhood in the Raleigh area, but I don't like neighborhoods being signed on interstates. That should definitely be like Wake Forest or Wilson or Rocky Mount, not North Raleigh. Anyways, a ways up the road, we're now meeting with US Highway 70, which is in the same control cities as Interstate 40, which kind of makes sense because this portion of US Highway 70 is an actual freeway. And then here we meet with North Carolina Highway 50 at exit 9, being signed for Creedmoor and Raleigh respectively, as North Carolina 50 will take you down to the Crabtree Valley area of Raleigh. And we're also meeting with 6 Forks Road here in a couple of miles. And on that 6 Forks Road exit, we're now being signed for Wake Forest, which is a good choice. And here we meet US Highway 1, and this is the furthest east that I've been on Interstate 540 personally, as US 1 is now being signed for Raleigh and Wake Forest. And let's see what we're signed for now on US 1, because we're in the Wake Forest area. Now we're being signed for Lewisburg? Why are they favoring US 401 here? That should definitely be Rocky Mountain Wilson. You should favor US 64. Look, US 401 is a very awesome road, but it should not be favored over US 64. And here's that set exit with US 401 being signed for Lewisburg. And let's see what we're signed for on US 401 now. Now we get the correct choice of Rocky Mountain Wilson. Good job, NCDOT, recovering from your mistakes. Here we meet the business route for US Highway 64, as 64 Business East will take you into the city of Knightdale. And here we get a sign telling us our US 264's control cities coming up soon. And here's that set exit with US 64, 264, and Interstate 87, as they'll take you to Rocky Mountain Wilson respectively, and the city of Raleigh. And this is the current northeastern terminus of Interstate 540, as this portion between this exit here and Interstate 40 exit 310 is currently under construction and will be open within the next few years. These are all the interchanges that 540 is going to need once this new section opens up in a couple of years or so. Some major highways include US 70, Interstate 40 and 42, along with a bunch of smaller local roads. So skipping ahead to exit 310 on Interstate 40 itself, now we're becoming a toll road and we now just get the Kentucky treatment of the Triangle Expressway. Oh, there should be like Holly Springs or Apex or Cary, not that just the Kentucky treatment. And our first major exit on North Carolina 540 is North Carolina 50 this time, and it just gets Benson Road. I mean, you could just take off that road and just sign Benson because Benson belongs on North Carolina 50, not Interstate 40. And then here we meet Old Stage Road, and we're going to be meeting with US Highway 401 and 2 1/4 mile. And let's see what we're signed for on Old Stage Road. Hey, we're now getting an actual control city. I mean, I think Apex is an alright choice. It's a pretty big city after all. And this year's on the US 401 exit as we just get the Kentucky treatment once again. So they like to sign control cities on smaller junctions, but the name of the expressway on bigger ones. Come on, NCDOT. Actually, this is the North Carolina Turnpike Authority, so they should be the one being scolded here, not NCDOT. And then here we meet Holly Springs Road, which will take you into Holly Springs and up to Cary, respectively. And then now we meet with North Carolina Highway 55, getting signed for Apex. We're also meeting Viridia Parkway coming up soon. And let's see what we're signed for on North Carolina 55. You just get the same thing as we saw in US 401, so why bother checking major junctions? And then here we meet with US Highway 1 here at exit 56 as it's getting signed south for Sanford and north for Raleigh, respectively. And then at random junctions, or smaller junctions I should say, we're now getting the control city of Cary, which is a good choice. Another thing that I wanted to point out is how expensive this toll road has become within the past couple of years. This sign is right after the US 1 exit, and we can see that it was just a little over $4 to travel the entire highway without a quick pass. Now it has become $6.15 to do the exact same mileage as of this year. It's almost a $2 hike. Here we meet with exit 57 South Salem Street, which will actually take you into downtown Apex and was US 1 until US 1 was routed onto a freeway. Now we're meeting with US Highway 64 and we now get a pull through, but it just gets the Kentucky treatment. No. Also, I do not like that 64 westbound control city. That should definitely be Ashboro. Now we're meeting with Mooresville Parkway here in the city of Mooresville. Now we're meeting with North Carolina 55 once again coming up soon as it's being signed for Durham and Cary respectively. In fact, here's the two exits for North Carolina Highway 55, and it looks like this one is more spaced out than this shield here. And on this exit, we're now getting signed for Raleigh, which is a good choice. Hey, look at that! They actually give us control cities. Well done, North Carolina Turnpike Authority. You've finally done something correct. But then again, this is the only reason why we're getting this is because the Triangle Expressway is leaving 540 to join with 885. And then our last major exit on North Carolina 540 is for North Carolina 54, which will take you into Mooresville. We're going to be meeting with Interstate 40, getting signed for Raleigh and Durham soon. And here's the ending to North Carolina 540 going clockwise as we meet our parent once again. So with that, we'll be turning around and doing counterclockwise on Interstate 540. So we actually begin going westbound on 540 as we're now getting Interstate 40 once again, getting signed for Durham and Raleigh. And then here's our last free exit on North Carolina 540 as we meet North Carolina 54 once again. And we're now just getting the Kentucky treatment because 540 is now becoming tolled. And here we meet with North Carolina Highway 885 as it's being signed for Durham, and we just get no control city because it's the North Carolina Turnpike Authority. And here we meet with the Mooresville Parkway once again, along with Green Level West Road, which for some random reason is getting a control city, while we don't get one at all. And here we meet with US 64 once again being signed for Apex and Pittsboro. That Pittsboro should not be there, that should be Ashboro. And then here we meet with South Salem Street once again, and we're meeting US 1 in 1 mile. And let us take a look to see where we're signed on both of these highways. It looks like for the South Salem Street exit, we're getting signed for Holly Springs. But on the US 1 distributor ramp, we're now getting signed for Holly Springs and Fuquay, along with the Triangle Expressway. Those are good choices. And here we meet with North Carolina 55 once again, and going this direction on 540, it is an AB exit. While going eastbound on 540, it was just a normal exit. And here's the exit for Holly Springs Road once again. And now we're meeting with US Highway 401 in this direction. It is being signed for Garner, because if you wanted to go to Fuquay, you would have been better taking North Carolina 55 instead of staying on the very expensive toll road to this exit here. Hold on. And here we get a North Carolina 540 reassurance shield, and because of how rural this area looks, it kind of reminds me of the state of Illinois. And then here we meet with North Carolina Highway 50, and we're soon going to be meeting both Interstate 40 and 42 as they get signed for Goldsboro and Wilmington respectively. And then here's that said exit with an all-traffic exit. Well, like I said, the last 11 miles is currently under construction. And once you take that exit, you have the option to take 40 East or 40 West, or you can stay straight to take Interstate 42 East to Goldsboro. Now we're going to be skipping back up to Interstate 87 to do the rest of 540. And here on Interstate 87 itself, we navigate Interstate 540 to US 1, being signed for both Wake Forest and the airport, which are good choices. And our first exit is US 64 Business, and it looks like going this direction on 540 is just a normal exit and not an AB exit. Here we meet US 401 at exit 18, and this exit was actually requested by Russ K because they used 401 to get to their friend's house, so thank you for that request. And now we're meeting with US 1 once again at exit 16 as it gets signed for Raleigh and Wake Forest respectively. And let us take a look to see what we're signed for on US 1. It looks like we're now getting signed for Durham, which is a good choice. Also, this southbound US 1 ramp for 540 was requested by East Coast Review, so thank you for that. And here we are meeting with North Carolina Highway 50 once again, being signed the same control cities that we saw going the other direction on 540. And here we meet with US 70 once again, being the same control cities as we again saw the other direction. And here we meet with the Aviation Parkway, which will take you to RDU Airport. And we're going to be meeting with Interstate 40 coming up soon. And then here we end right back up where we started the counterclockwise portion with the exit for Interstate 40. So with that, we end Interstate 540 and North Carolina 540, and we move on to the way it should be. So these are all the places that I think should be signed on this highway. So starting off with clockwise, we're going to be going Wake Forest, then Nightdale, then Rocky Mount / Wilson, and then for the tolled portion, I would start off with Holly Springs, then go to Apex, then Cary, then the Durham / RDU Airport. And then going counterclockwise, I would start off with Cary, then Apex, then Holly Springs, and then also do Fuquay up until US 401, and then Wilmington because of Interstate 40, and for the free portion, I would just do Wake Forest and Durham / RDU Airport like they do going that direction of 540. And that ends Interstate 540. Thank you all so much for watching this Locals Guide episode on Interstate 540 and North Carolina Highway 540. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about the highway and I advise not traveling on this road unless if you have an easy pass, because the tolls are ridiculously expensive. So with that, here are my next few highways. If you have any intersection requests for any of these upcoming highways, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to shout you out once these highways release. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next week as we do US 117.